Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Little Prince. Today we have another guest. I know we're keeping the content coming. We've got people, we're chatting, we're having a good time. Before we get into today's episode, we would like to give a shout out to Ghost Energy, who is not a sponsor,
Yet?
but we will be drinking them anyways.
We are. Gosh, I'm always
Ooh.
lagging.
That is good. What are you drinking today, JB?
So, something really interesting. This is a new one. It's called iced tea lemonade.
Ooh.
I know. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking cherry limeade, and our guest today, JV, do you want to introduce?
AC? Hessenauer?
Great. Yes, before we get into it, is it Hessenauer or is it Hessenauer?
Hessenauer. It's like
This
Hess and
ask
hour.
the German.
Yes,
I've
my
been saying
husband
it
is
wrong.
German. Yep.
The entire time, and I apologize
That's okay.
for every review you've ever listened to.
No, it's a mouthful, and you were close. You were closer than most. But yeah, it's hard to pronounce. So
Can I
no
just
worries.
say, though, that for somebody who writes folk horror, Hessenauer, I feel like is such a great last name. I'm just
Really?
like,
Oh, that's good to hear.
I think it's like perfect. I don't know. It's like
Has like a
folkish.
spooky
don't know.
vibe.
It's got a vibe to it. And I'm like, oh, it's brilliant. But you don't want to be called like Riley Lovelace when you're writing the kind of darker material. Hessenauer, I mean, it's just like visceral. I don't know. I can't
Is there
explain
like a Hessenauer?
No,
I don't think
it's
there
just a
is in the
Hessenauer.
natural pronunciation.
Yeah.
No.
But
I'd have to
Tyler, do
ask
what
my
you want.
husband. I don't know.
No.
To be honest.
I'm not doing anything. That's incorrect. No. AC, what are you drinking today?
So literally just water. Nothing that exciting right now.
Very,
Very
very
grown up of you.
conscious.
Finished my
Very
coffee.
grown up.
My 3
Meanwhile,
cups
us
of
here.
coffee are gone for the day. So
We won't tell.
Yeah. Yeah, we should point out that she is definitely in a different time zone. I'm Mountain, you're PST, and you're Eastern, right?
We are across
Yeah.
the states, across the gamut. Which, where, at least the state. We don't
I'm
want to
located in Michigan.
Michigan, how's the weather?
Very hot. It's been 90s. We had a day that it was over 100. And I'm not a summer person, not to knock anyone who loves the heat, but I prefer fall and winter, quite frankly, which is good because it's winter like 6 months at least out of the year here. So that's what we're used to. When it gets really hot in the summer, I'm just melting. So
Yeah. Does it get humid?
it does, yeah.
Are you close to the
Heat and
lakes?
humidity. So
Yeah.
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 Are you born in fall? Is that why you're more of a fall baby?
yeah. So you are the second person that has asked me that in the last week. That's
Mhm.
interesting. We were having a similar conversation, and I was asked, "When's your birthday?" It's like it's in November.
Mhm.
And to
You
me,
like the
it's
cooler
more
months?
winter, but it's early November. So, and then I was
Yeah.
like, why? Why do you ask? I thought it was like a Scorpio thing because then she asked me, "Are you a Scorpio?" She's like, "Just because you like fall, that's when your birthday is usually." Like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Interesting. Tyler, does that apply to you? I mean, technically, you're a late summer.
I'm September 4th. I am technically a late summer, but give me cool weather, comfy, cozy sweaters, fall leaves. Hate the summer. I love the summer when I'm in it in the sense of like it's not snowing anymore,
Yeah.
but I hate the heat. Like even like a couple of times sitting here, I actually have my big lights turned off because I invested in good lighting. But I'd just be sitting here sweating miserable in like the
No, I
other
know what you
interviews.
mean.
Yeah.
I'm
We've
the
got
same way.
AC, like we started it May, I think is when we turned on our AC. We're like, listen, I'm not living miserable.
No.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I live in the desert in the Central Valley in California, so it gets.
Wow.
We have probably 10 nice days a year. It's hot, probably about 7-8 months of the year, like hot.
Wow.
And then we get, but because we're in the desert, we also get the freezing temperatures at night in the winter.
okay.
But most of the time, it's just miserable. So it's
Yeah.
just nice, like this many days a year, and the rest is just. What?
Tell me we're all like older ladies in our like 30s.
No,
We're all just sitting here talking about the weather.
This is AC's episode.
just like to point out you have the cutest accent.
Who, me?
Yes,
Really?
you, AC. Yes.
My gosh, I don't
It's
think of myself as
adorable.
having an accent. Really? That's so funny.
Oh, she does. Do you hear it? Do you see it? JB?
I have not noticed it yet, but now I'm listening. But so do you, Tyler. Your accent, when I say dread house, I want to say it like the Canadians say the
Dread
house.
House?
Yeah.
Okay, I heard it there.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
I love her accent. I'm like
Oh my
practicing
God.
practicing my Canadian.
Oh, shut up.
That's so funny.
Okay. Let's get into like getting to know AC. Take us back. What was the first book you read when you were younger that you were like, I want to be an author?
Gosh. Okay, that's a tough one. I don't know if I remember the first book for sure, but
Okay.
I definitely grew up an avid reader. I read all the time. Speaking of summers, I hated summer as a child as well.
Do you hate
So,
away?
yeah, I would just be bored out of my mind. I was the oldest of, well, I am the oldest of four. And, I had younger siblings and my mom would be busy with them. We didn't do a ton of play dates and things in the summer, so I would read. And my grandma was a librarian. And in
Oh,
our town, and she
that's
had
so
worked at each of
cool.
the libraries. So there was a little local library that's since been closed, but it was probably not even a mile from my house. So once I was old enough, I'd go ride my bike up there myself when I was out of books and, fill up my
Cool.
backpack with as many books as I could and ride home. And I don't remember at what age, but I don't know. I don't know if this is young, but I feel like I was in middle school or maybe not. Maybe sixth grade, I started reading Stephen King, which, for many horror authors is a big one. I don't think my parents, like, if they didn't know or didn't care what I was reading, because really it was probably, too mature for me, and probably half of it went over my head in the beginning. But I loved horror books from a young age. I don't know if you ever read, well, obviously there's Goosebumps, all those, but there was a series called Bunnicula.
No. Never heard
So
of that.
it was
I've never heard
literally
of that
this
either.
pet rabbit, right? But it was a vampire rabbit, but it drained the blood of vegetables. So it would like get up at night, get out of its cage, go in the fridge, get like a carrot out, and I swear to God,
Brain.
that
So
was
that was
one
your
of the
inspo?
first like scary series that I read, and I remember staying up at night with a flashlight, reading that at night and just scaring the crap out of myself about a vampire rabbit.
Who drains the blood out of vegetables?
Vegetables. Yeah, so that was
Very
one of
health
the earliest
conscious.
horror books I remember.
That is great. Stephen King was very influential on my like reading journey too.
Yeah,
I love and I still enjoy reading horror. I know
yeah.
Tyler over here who disappeared because she's that scared. She
Yeah,
does.
I left.
Did
The
you
rabbit
know
was too
AC?
much.
Yeah,
That
the
rabbit,
vegetables
I
and the
Yeah.
can't
blood,
stand.
okay? Yeah.
Tyler reads. She has day books and night books. Were you aware of that, AC?
Okay.
She probably read Dread House during the day, daylight hours.
Yeah, I remember she was messaging me at one point saying
Mhm.
like I had to stop reading it for today because it's getting too late. Like I think that you were like worried you were gonna have nightmares.
Yeah, I'm a child. I have a very, very active, I wanted to say cerebral cortex. That sounds super fancy. I just have
Oh.
I have really animated, very vivid dreams.
My
Yeah.
prefrontal lobe is
Yeah, it's very advanced. Yeah, so I do a lot of the times, oh gosh, I do tandem read in the sense where I have a day book and I have a night book. And then normally the night book is like some romance or something like super just,
Yeah.
I don't really have to think about it. But that being said, I have read Dread House and I have read Possession and I do have Mount Snow. I have not read it yet, but it sounds incredible. I just want to say thank you for sending me
Yeah.
these books. You're just so
those
crazy of
covers.
you.
Well,
That
Gorgeous.
Dread House cover. Holy.
Yes.
Okay, is there still a way to get? Okay, I need to know why you changed the cover.
Okay.
So let me pull it up. Cause your cover now. So I have it on
Yes.
Kindle. Sorry, it is
Yeah.
beautiful, but
Oh, I
it's
have it.
different. Um, Tyler, will you hold up
Look at her
yours
little
again?
author stack.
Somewhere here. So
We'll hold up all of ours.
this is the
Because
new. It's
see,
really
it's even
gorgeous
more
in
beautiful.
person.
And it's like a matte black, right?
Yes, it's a
Like
matte. I
the
went with the
soft.
matte cover. So is the
I love the matte
original.
covers.
And I loved the original too.
Let
But
me change it.
so at that time, I had a couple things lined up for a cover, and I'm self-published, so I was doing everything on my own. But I was, gosh, I want to say like a week out from my publication date for Dread House, and my cover art was just falling through. It was not going well. So I was like, shoot, what am I going to do? Right. Well, I had literally, because this was over a year ago, I had just learned about AI and was like, oh, okay. I heard about it at work. They did this webinar thing. I'm like, I think I could do this for my cover. I needed one last minute. So that's what I did. But then come to find out, a few months later, because really that was my first book and it was published last September. So I've only been in the writing community not even a year now.
Did
I
people
started
come
to
for you?
learn, AI is a big issue, obviously, for obvious reasons. Now, my prefrontal cortex is apparently underdeveloped because I did not know. Like, to me, I heard AI and I thought it was computer generated. I didn't realize how AI worked at that time,
Yep.
that it was actually trained on real art and
Yep.
ripping it off, basically.
Yep.
So once I realized this, I started to switch over all of my book covers to art by real artists. So the new cover is, an actual artist, Matt Seth Barnes, created this cover. He also did the cover for Possession, the new cover, and the one for Jumpers. So and then I've worked with one or two other artists for upcoming books as well.
Yeah.
So I've kind of got a range now. But then, and it's hard when you're first getting started. I initially, like I said, I wanted to use artwork. I just was having trouble because I didn't have those connections and contacts, knowing how to find someone that,
for sure.
and
there are people out there that will rip you off. I mean, I remember I've been published since September last year, and like you. Very, very like newbie, it's a huge learning curve. And I think that it has to come with some grace, right? And AI, you're right, is such a big topic. And I'm so glad you brought this up because I think people, they immediately start attacking. And I get it. It totally makes sense. Like you don't want to use AI in a creative space at all.
Right.
But it's like, it's not willful ignorance. People are really just still learning.
100%.
And I agree with you. And I reached out to a bunch of illustrators because I wanted character art for my books. And I got ripped off so many times. They wanted a deposit, and then either they ghosted me or they sent me back absolute crap.
Right.
And, I mean, it makes sense that especially for some self-published individuals, especially in the beginning. I mean, we're working on a zero budget.
That's
right?
the thing. Yeah.
We can't invest in $200 covers for books that might not make that money back.
Oh, no, no. I agree completely. And the
So
first
it's-
person I
it's
reached
tough.
out to after that, I was quoted like $700 for the cover only. And I don't even think that included a full, I don't remember if it was a wrap, all of it. I was like, that's way more than I was expecting, way out of my budget, so I had to find and reach out and find contacts and find some more reasonable options. But yeah, you're working on a budget of $0 and thinking, okay, how many copies of a book do I need to sell to even just begin to get out of the red and make up for what I've spent, but
and that just on the cover.
that just on the cover alone. Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get it. I mean, it makes sense. And so it makes sense to me that you then switched to an artist as you began to learn about it.
Right.
Yeah.
In the
totally
meantime,
makes sense.
Tyler actually was helping me
I was
create
gonna say,
like bridge covers because I wanted to take them down. As soon as I realized I wanted to take them down right away, but like I can't just pull my books off of Amazon completely. You'd have to like archive them, really. I didn't want to mess with that. So
And
I
it's so
created my own
tough.
cover, and Tyler was
She
helping
worked
me.
so hard.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
like every day we were communicating and we were playing around with Canva
Yeah.
because Canva is not AI.
Right.
It has clip art and stuff like
Right.
that. And she was like every day going through and making modifications.
You know what's fascinating about the whole AI thing is that, as an author, we stay away from it as much as
Mhm.
possible. But so I look for stock images, but then I'm
Yeah.
starting to realize that I think that the stock image space is getting invaded by AI too. And I have
AI is everywhere.
I have a tough time sometimes distinguishing what's AI and what's not. And then somebody will be like, hey, I think this might be AI. And I'm like, holy
I
shit, like,
know. I
okay,
had the
I'm
same
taking
problem.
this out. It's so hard. I'm like,
It is hard.
how can I, because sometimes I can't tell. I
I
cannot tell with
can't
the
tell
stock image
sometimes
site.
either. I feel the same way. I joined this, I don't know what you want to call it. I got a membership to website where I can get vector and clip art and real
Yes.
photographs, right? Because during this process, and actually this is just a vector that someone drew for
Yeah.
I like
Carl,
that.
and I've kept it. This is one I made with vector art I had
That's
the
cool.
license to. But on this website, I encountered the same thing, and I started getting suspicious on some of these images. And then I was able to like find, but they had it kind of buried in the description that it was AI. And shoot,
Mm.
I felt so discouraged because I'd paid to get this membership, I'd done all this work, and then I was still coming across AI art. So
It's the same with illustrators. Sometimes you hire an illustrator to do a character art for you, and
yeah.
then I can't, I mean, unless I make them film them
How do
creating
you
my
know?
character art,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
whether they're making this with
Yeah.
AI or actually drawing by hand? It's such a shit show.
It is. It
It's
really
really
is.
difficult. And speaking from a technology standpoint, because that's what I do for work, I work in IT. AI is everywhere, and
Uh,
I've seen on threads where people are like, "Oh my gosh, I have this new cover," and then they're like, "It's AI." And a lot of people, I don't think understand AI
No, I did.
and like
right.
if you want to actually I'm going to shout out the podcast by Joe Rogan where he sits down and he talks to like developers of AI and stuff like that and its root cause and all of that stuff and um while it's meant to make life easier, but in the same sense, it doesn't have the cognitive function to be its own writing its own stuff, right? So like even the big thing that was going around where Amazon was using AI
For
to write books or write things from
Right.
authors' books. Anything that was uploaded to KU, I think, was used to teach AI, which I mean, how else, from a technical standpoint, how else are you going to teach a computer without
so
giving it something to learn off of, right?
I
So,
I've so this is the one thing that is to me is a really dangerous thing is that people will I've seen it on threads. People will accuse authors of having used AI in their writing. And
yeah,
but it's we already know that even those AI detector tools cannot actually detect whether something is written with AI because it makes sense. AI is trained with our writing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like a circle. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. It's so dangerous when you then have people accusing people of using AI, and it's like I don't know how to prove to you that I'm not because the thing
Right.
is, I write because it brings me joy. I don't want to use a tool to write my books. Fuck the tool.
Yeah,
I
that
want
defeats the
AI
purpose.
to
Yeah.
fold my laundry for me so I can
Right.
write.
yeah,
That would be
yeah,
helpful.
Like I wish it would do that and not like
Yeah.
invade the creative spaces, but
Yeah.
like actually take like you go vacuum for me, would you, computer?
Right. Something useful.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was pretty shocked one day when I logged into my KDP, my Amazon account, and saw this blurb pop up saying you've been selected as a beta tester or whatever. You can now have your books
Oh, the
narrated with
audiobook?
virtual
Yes.
voice. And I was like, oh my God, because again, this was once I was more aware and educated on AI, and I'm just that shocked and kind of horrified me because that's a whole I mean, it's the same thing with artists and writers, but that's a whole field. These are people's livelihoods. This is what they do for a
Yep.
living. They narrate books, and there is an art
Yep.
to it. It's like
Oh my
acting,
gosh,
it's
yes.
voice acting. And to think,
Completely
okay,
agree.
we're going to just have a computer, read out loud my book. Absolutely not.
I know. I
It's
know. And
crazy.
it cannot relay emotion the way that
No,
humans can. It will always
no.
sound robotic. I mean,
Yes.
maybe in another 10 years or however, I mean, it develops so quickly, it's better.
Yeah.
But I agree. I mean, you're losing that human element. But on the other hand, again, I understand why some people, because especially for indie authors,
Yeah.
again, that limited budget, and we know how
Limited
expensive
budget.
it is
Yeah.
to hire a narrator
Well,
and get it
yeah.
produced right. And
Yes.
yeah,
And again, not
it's
knowing what the options are when you first start out, because when I first started, I thought, okay, there's no way I can ever afford to have one of my books narrated, at least not right now
I
while I'm
can't.
just getting started. And then again, just learning from other authors, I found some great author groups through Facebook, horror author groups, and have started networking to try to learn from people that have more experience than I do. And I realized, okay, it's sounding like I could go on there, on ACX, you list your book and you could find someone that maybe is willing to just do a royalty share and split royalties 50-50. Even that I felt kind of bad about because I'm like, now if my book doesn't sell, this
I
person
know
has
they're not going to
spent,
get any money.
hours recording it and they're not going to get paid. But
Yeah.
a lot of them are just getting started, like we are. It's like, okay, they're new to this, or they have done other things. Maybe they've acted in the past and now they're trying to move into the audiobook space. But then I realized, okay, it is an option for me to do this without having to pay someone upfront, but you don't know that until you know. So for people that are new authors, self-published, they've just put their first book out, and you see this pop up saying, hey, you can have your audiobook narrated for free. I could see people going, oh, great, why not? Without
Yeah,
realizing what that means.
yeah,
So,
it's oh yeah, no, it's so hard. It's such a push and pull, and it's such a give and take. And
mhm. It's a
oh
lot to
yeah,
We
navigate.
had
that learning curve.
Yes.
yeah, we had Melanie Marr on a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about her because she did narration for her book as well, and she was like, "I held interviews, like
Mhm.
Auditions.
because that's such a or audition,
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry, because
Yeah.
that's you,
Hmm.
right? Like you want Cassie to be
Hmm.
represented as how you hear
Right.
and picture Cassie.
Right.
Like I was gonna say, the cover of your new book is pretty much exactly how I pictured her
Really? Yeah.
when I was reading. Yeah, it's very spot on.
Yeah.
I think that lends to how descriptive you are
Oh my
with your
gosh.
characters and stuff
Yes.
like that. Like, so I think that um oh my God, where did my thought go?
Oh,
It
That
was
the
like
prefrontal
auditions.
cortex of
Yes.
yours fail you.
my prefrontal cortex. I think it's very important for, while it is great, like if there's something that can alleviate a portion of an author's job, I can see it being so enticing, especially
Yeah.
when Amazon's like, "Hey, you want us to narrate your book for free?" And you're
Hmm.
like, "For free?"
Right. Yeah.
Um, yeah, you don't have any control, and
No.
then that's published,
And
right?
then it's
Because I
out
don't think
there.
that they let
Yeah.
you review it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh God, it's yeah, this is such a good topic. I'm glad you started talking
yeah.
about it. See.
Yes, let's we kind of dove in without actually explaining who you are and like the books that you've written.
What even
So,
are you, AC? What's going
yeah.
on?
Okay, so this is the question I dread because I don't know if
No
you
pun
are
intended.
like me, JV, but I found this to be the case with many authors. I struggle to like actually verbally describe
Succinctly?
my books succinctly and my genre of what I write, but and I'm sure many authors feel this way. I do feel it's such a mix of genres. And I had a
Mhm.
friend who read Dread House, my first book, and she's a writer. She's written for New York Times, much bigger things
Wow.
than I have done. But she read it in a few days and she told me she loved it and I was shocked. And she said though, I hope you find your audience. And I just took that
Mhm.
as like, oh, thanks, but then I thought about it later. I'm like,
And she's like,
I
it's
get
so
why she
niche.
said that, because it is an odd sort of mixture of genres, I think, that I write. I mean, I call them horror books. They have horror elements. Each book has a supernatural element or entity of
Mhm.
some type. Um,
Yeah.
but they're very much romance books, I feel, as well. There's always
Yeah.
a strong romance plot for the most part. Maybe not in Carl, though there is a little bit still. But some spice levels are different depending on the book. Psychological thriller, but it's like it's so hard to pinpoint. They don't fit in any one
Mm-hmm.
category. I mean, I think I'm writing books for myself that I like to read and write,
Yes.
right? And
Yes. The
so
Vampire
you
Bunny.
like the Vampire
Yeah.
Bunny. If you're a girl that likes vampire bunnies, but
Yeah.
I
I'm your girl.
but it's hard. It is hard, and
It
it's
is.
hard to describe them. And Jumpers
But
is
that's
my
what
newest
makes
book, and the only parallel I could think of, because they always say, okay, in your ad copy or when you're writing or listing your book, think of things like movies or shows or other books that are similar. And I've really struggled with that. But I
I do
thought of The
too.
Gorge. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's on Apple TV.
I have.
Um,
is that
Good
so
that one
movie.
with the is that the one where they're like on those like two
the
things that are like super far
towers,
apart?
yeah,
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but it was on in the
It's
background when we
good.
went to go
it's
visit
really
Devin's
good.
uncle, and I was like, "This is so good."
Yeah.
And then the things happened, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Exactly.
Like, I'm
That's
so
like my books.
confused.
Perfect. Okay, so there's a romance angle, right? There's supernatural. It's
Hmm.
kind of weird, like what the fuck's going on vibe. Um,
Yeah,
but and to me, I'm like, but this should be widely appealing. I feel like in a movie, because you've got a mix of things that sort of appeals to everyone. If you like action, there's
yeah,
action. If you like romance, there's romance, right? But it's hard to market that in
Yes, I think
books.
that's exactly what the problem is, right? Because you need to put yourself out there and you need to be able to be seen. I mean, you could write the best book in the world, but if nobody reads it, it
Right.
doesn't matter. And how do you market that, right? And
Yeah.
it's so, especially when you publish on KDP, you can
Yeah.
only put it in 3 categories. Like,
Hmm.
ah,
And they're so
oh,
broad
and
really?
they're so broad, and so
yeah,
you have to be able to, but that's the lovely part about being an indie author, right? You can really write the book that you want to
right.
read and like put it out
Right.
there and then just hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah, right. And that's what I
Yeah.
say. If worst case, no one reads it, I enjoyed writing it. I will read it again at some point and hopefully enjoy reading it. Not right away, because after you've edited your book, for
You're
500
like
years,
done.
you never want to look at it again, really. But
True.
that you can hope for the best, and I thought that was a good sentiment. Like, I hope you find your audience, because I do think that is the hardest part, especially when the market is so inundated, and which is a great thing. I think being able to self-publish is wonderful, but that does mean that that market is flooded with so many options. I mean, as we all know, your TBR is probably like miles long, like mine. I have such a list of books I want to read that I'll never get through it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I get it when, I put a book out there and it doesn't have huge numbers. I mean, yeah, there's so much out there for people, and they may never even see my book to know that it's available. So marketing's the hardest
And
thing.
even
It is.
totally, and even like you sending a book, like you sent me all three of these, and like I can say from a reader's perspective, while the indie space is saturated, there's no, I haven't read anything like those. They are so well rounded.
Thank you.
Like I sit down and I'm like literally like 2 days each book, like because I can't put it down because I need to know what happens next. The pull of the stories, I don't even understand how you write so much, because even though this is a folk horror that has I don't want to spoil anything, but has a focus on some really creepy things and is just really really an enticing and like super interesting read. And then you have Possession, which is also like a horror book, and you would think that like this would be similar to that. No, they're completely fucking different books. Like, you have a completely different story. You've got this like paranormal, like I don't know if you can see. Oh, is this the one? Yeah. So there's like a wolf on this side, and then as you turn it, there's like a human face on this side, right? So like for those of you who are on audio, sorry, but go pick it up and so you can see it yourself. But this is about like a guy. well, this is about a group of people who go to like this castle for like a getaway thingy, and the main character is a dink, but like it's horror, but it's horror that I can consume as a person who can't consume a lot. I've never read a Stephen
Yeah.
King, probably never will.
Yeah.
There are some not so scary ones,
Yeah.
more like psychological.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that you knock it out of the park when it comes to the psychological. Like, I messaged you, and I don't want to spoil anything for Dreadhouse, but there's a certain topic in this book that you go in depth in, and you can tell as a reader you did your research,
Yeah.
because there's a big focus on it. And I was like, how many hours did you just sit and Google this? And you're like, a lot.
I do.
A
Yeah.
lot of hours. I wanted to represent it
Yeah.
correctly.
That search history.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always a running joke in like the author groups and
World.
circles, like the most random shit that you've
What's the thing that what's the most, oh man, I hope my computer never
Ooh.
gets like,
yeah, the
taken by
FBI is going
the
to be
cops. They're
watching
gonna be
you.
like, I'm sorry,
Hilarious.
what? How many ribs can a person break before? Whoa,
I know.
okay.
Yeah.
I know.
What's going on over here?
Too soon. Too soon.
So
Wow.
AC, so in reading Dreadhouse, I love authors that are very descriptive and very detailed, because
Mhm.
that is what pulls me into a story, and I
Mhm.
find that with your books.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, the moment I started reading
Yeah.
Dreadhouse, I
You
was
don't
like,
want to put it down.
oh, I was in the woods, I was in that
Right.
driveway, I walked into that creepy house.
Yeah.
I love that. What what's your inspiration for that?
So for Dreadhouse, I had two different things. I had sat down and started to write a book before, maybe 2 or 3 times, but going back, the last attempt was probably 10 years ago, right? And I always wanted to be a writer growing up, but never quite got around to it. Um, and I started, 2 or 3 books and would give up partway in and just never come back to it. But with Dreadhouse, I had one particular scene in mind. For whatever reason, it was a dinner scene, and I just had that in my head that I wanted to write that down. And I saw an ad for a contest, a writing contest, and it was actually through Kindle Vella, which has now since been shut down. But at that time, it was like, a 10,000 word entry, something like that. And I thought, okay, I think I could write something short like that. I'll start there. So I had this one scene in mind, but I literally just sat down and started writing, with no plot, nothing planned. Okay,
Pantser?
Sorry.
Are you a pantser?
Yes, I am. I do plot a little bit as I get into the book. Like I'll write notes, but I do not plan anything out ahead of time. Sometimes I know like a vague idea of the ending that I want to get to, but that's about it. Um, but yeah, I, had this one scene in mind. So I'm picturing the setting. So I knew I needed a creepy house, gothic feeling. And so I just made up, well, what's a reason this random girl's going to a house in the woods? And it was a wedding, was what I came up with. So I just started writing. But the other inspiration, because I knew I needed something creepy in this book too, was a dream. You were talking about vivid dreams earlier. I am also a vivid dreamer, and it's not super frequent, but I will have these crazy dreams that feel like they're hours long, and it's like a whole plot of a movie sometimes, it's just ridiculous. So I had a dream like that, and it was, again, probably 10 years ago, but I still remembered it. And so I incorporated elements of that into Dreadhouse and then embellished from there. But again, I don't want to give too much away, but the paper that she finds, that was from a dream, that this one dream, and it was very creepy, and it stuck with me. So I used some of that, and then just, as the plot got built, went back and changed what I needed to change. But yeah, it was really one scene, which I see is not uncommon. I hear that from other authors. Like, you have this one scene in mind, so you got to write 200 pages to get to that point, just to write that scene that you wanted to write.
Did you start with that scene when you started writing Dreadhouse?
I didn't. I started chronologically, page
Wow.
1, she's driving through the woods, and just made it up from there, So, and obviously had to go back and edit and add details later, but yeah.
I don't know if I'll ask if I can say this, and if I can't say it, then I'll take it back. But I want to say it to
Okay.
you. The it was this book. Yeah. The way this book opened, the way this book closed. I literally was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like I went back and forth 3 times.
Yeah.
The same paragraph to open, the same paragraph to
Mhm.
close. And I was just like,
Yeah.
what do you mean it's done? What do you mean? Like the ending, like it was just, it's so well done. But I was just like, what was it? Did that come naturally? Where you were just like the same paragraph to open and the same
So,
paragraph to
no,
close?
that wasn't the original ending. The original ending was sort of what you see in the epilogue minus that last paragraph that repeats, right? So I
Yeah.
wrote 2 endings. That
Yeah.
was the first one. It was a normal ending, you know, like it wrapped up everything nicely. And then the second ending I wrote was just like, what the fuck? Like completely weird and creepy. And
Ooh.
I had my husband, because he's usually the first one that reads all my books. He read through both and he's like, gosh, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it like fully with either one of these. So then I went, okay, can I combine the 2
Mm.
of them? So that's what I ended up doing. And I am happy with it, but you know, we always nitpick our own work, and I think we're
Yeah.
our own worst critic, right? So
Yeah.
I've looked back and like I get very mixed reactions from people who read Dread House. Either they love it, 5 stars, they couldn't put it down, they love the ending, or they go, I don't get it. I don't get the ending, you know, and they have to really look back or they have to ask me questions. I'm like, okay, I feel like I sprinkled clues in all the way along,
Yeah.
but
You weren't paying attention.
yes, but
Yeah.
maybe not enough or not blatant enough for some people. But again, you know, it's hard when you're writing, you want this balance of, especially when you're writing a thriller or a mystery or any kind of psychological thriller type book, you want to build in clues and you want to lead the reader there, but you don't want to make it so blatantly obvious that they're like, oh, I figured that out
No.
in the second chapter. This is boring, you know. So it's hard to have. I was surprised by that. That was something I didn't expect going into writing this book, how difficult that piece of it would be, because I really wanted it to be something where until that final ending's revealed, you know, you don't fully get everything that's going on. But then when you get to the
Mhm.
end, it all makes sense, you know?
You're like, oh,
So,
duh.
Yeah.
That's how I always
so
feel when I
Yeah.
read Frida McFadden books, because
yeah.
she's like,
Oh,
she's good at
Red
the red
herring.
herring. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I got this figured out.
I know.
I never figure anything out. And then at the end, I'm
Yeah.
like, well, duh.
And I love that. I love that feeling, you know? And
I
I
do
like
too.
books that end
Yeah.
on a weird note. I like things that are unresolved enough
I do
that they make
too.
you think where you're
I
not
like the unsettled
sure.
feeling at the
Yeah.
end. If there's like something
And
like,
you're like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't even, I wouldn't classify it as a cliffhanger.
Right.
It was a full rounded
Right.
end, right? Like there was, I could
Yeah.
see maybe a second book, but for me, I was like, that was such a satisfying ending,
Good.
but also what the fuck?
Right. Yeah.
Like, and I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, I raved about this book. I thought it was great. I want to touch on, first of all, do you eat, do you sleep? Because how do you have you have 2 more books sitting with you. I've got 3
Yeah.
with me. You first published your first book in
Yeah.
September. That was Dread House. Then we have
Right.
Possession.
Yeah.
This was July?
Possession
No,
was
July last year?
December. Yeah.
December. Mount Snow I just got, so this was like June.
That was March, I
May,
think, when it
June?
came out, but then it took
Oh,
a while to
March.
get the
Okay.
author copies and ship it. And then
Okay,
Jumpers
and then you've got
is the new one. This just came out
Jumpers.
in June.
this is totally different. Like, look
Yeah.
at the cover of this. This is like a sci-fi freaking, like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
Well, and
First of all,
this-
gorgeous.
It does
sounds
have some sci-fi
good.
element. Yeah.
it sounds.
I mean, just looking at it, that's the vibe
Right.
that I get. But I feel like all of your covers, like, if they're very good at being descriptive of what's going
Mhm.
on. Like, by seeing it, I don't know. I haven't read Jumpers
Yeah.
yet. That leads me to JV. Do you want to do the giveaway?
Oh
We
yeah,
almost
no,
forgot.
I'm glad you remembered. Yeah, and I mean we're gonna
I was
have
trying to
to
fit it in.
start wrapping things up too. So good thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, AC has graciously agreed to give away a signed copy of Jumpers, right? Which is your newest
Mhm.
book.
Mhm.
We man, and it sounds so apropos because of what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
Minus
There's
the
some
sort
real
of more
world
real world
Tie-ins, yes.
applications, minus
Yeah.
the,
Tell us about it.
paranormal. Yeah, tell us
Yeah.
about it, and then we'll do the giveaway. Or
Okay,
should we do the
so
giveaway first and then tell about jumpers?
yeah, either way.
Okay, let me do the giveaway first because I feel like once you get into what jumpers is about, I'm gonna want to talk about that. And forget
Okay.
because my brain, my prefrontal cortex.
Okay. Leave it alone.
Okay, so AC has agreed to give away a copy of Jumpers, signed paperback. So we ask our authors, our guests, to give us a code word. And AC, what is your code word?
So super creative. The code word is jumpers.
Jumpers.
Not
All right,
obvious
folks.
at all.
No, not at all. So just when you hear this code word, make sure you message us on Instagram to Little Prince Podcast. Let us know what the code word is, and then you'll be entered into a drawing for the signed paperback of Jumpers. Okay, so what is
Yes.
Jumpers about?
Well, 1 second, but we'll just specify this giveaway is
Okay.
open for Canada and the
Sounds
US.
good.
And then we will pass it back over to JV so she can ask you questions. And then, sorry.
Good
So
call.
what is Jumpers about? Tell us what Jumpers is about.
Okay, so again, I'm going to struggle to describe this
Do you want me to read the blurb?
succinctly. But yeah, that's where you go. Okay, I did write a little blurb for the back, but no, I'm not going to read that. I will just say again, as we were talking about earlier, my books are usually a mix of genres. So Jumpers is set in, it's a dystopian thriller, I would say. It's set in the future, pretty near future. It does have tie-ins to current, political events in the US, but basically it's an extrapolation of my brain at the start of this year in January, sitting there kind of terrified over events in the US and thinking, what would happen if at some point, once again, there's some sort of basically a civil war where the US ends up fracturing into two. And I'm picturing a North and South. Someone tries to declare independence and break away, and what is the outcome of this, right? So that's the future that Jumpers is set in. It is definitely, again, there's a supernatural element, which I do warn about in the trigger warnings, just to make sure, like 100%. And I put it all over the landing page on Amazon because I want people to know, some people love their thrillers without any supernatural elements. I don't understand that personally, but I get it.
I don't get you.
That's your preference.
Whatever.
Right? So the teeth on the back too, I'm like, I hopefully, this
there
indicates
teeth on the back.
Yeah, that there's, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's something going on here. So basically, our main character.
Is it okay?
No, go ahead.
It's part of your blurb, right? So where you're basically saying that there is some affliction and it twists men into these ravenous things,
ravenous beings.
Okay,
so brilliant.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like,
so brilliant.
I don't understand. Your brain is spectacular to come up with all of these books. Like,
Thank you.
I don't understand.
Well,
sorry, continue.
So that's basically what happens. The main character is a fighter pilot. She flies planes in the north, and she gets pulled in basically to kind of like lead this task force that's going to try to figure out what's going on and how to stop it, right? It's almost a campy creature feature. Not really, but again, it's for people that like that sort of thing. There's also a really strong romance plot. It's an enemies to lovers type romance. There's sort of a love triangle as well, which is hinted at, which will be explored more in book 2. It will have a sequel. So it is part 1. I think it'll just be 2 books. But yeah, I mean, it's got a lot. It's action. It's about war. So it does have some imagery of war scenes. And again, that's something I mentioned. It's mild gore. I'm not a splatterpunk, writer. It's not anything super gruesome. And it's something that I would want to watch as a movie. It's something that I would enjoy reading.
Sounds so good.
Has some smut too, it's like, it's just a mix of a lot of things.
I could see that being a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that being like either a movie or like a TV
Yeah,
show.
I could too. So and that's how I write. I picture, I mean, I think most authors are doing that. You're picturing what you're writing in your head. You see it in your head as you're writing. So I kind of see it like I'm watching a movie as I'm writing it, you know.
Same. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think, you know, I think it'll be something that could be appealing to a wide range of readers because it's got a little bit of everything. But I'm super excited.
Dystopian is really big right now. Like anything that's like dystopian fantasy, take you out of your world type
Yes.
books. Like personally
Yes.
for me, I'm definitely a fantasy/romance
Yeah.
reader. That's pretty
Yeah,
much
I
it.
love fantasy as well, you know. It has some of that aspect of just taking you outside of yourself. It's a distraction, it's fun, you know, it's just meant to be.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Dissociate from
Yeah.
Mhm.
gestures wildly.
Right.
Right. All right. I think we'll probably have to wrap this up.
Yeah. I'm sad
I
though.
was like,
Fun.
we want to have you back. We say that to everyone. I
Yes.
think we're
Oh,
gonna have
that'd be
like the
great.
same 12 people just repeatedly on because we want to like keep talking to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
But thank you so much for joining us, AC.
Yes, thank you guys. This
Mhm.
was so much fun. I love it. I'd be happy to come back anytime. Just let me know. It'd be my pleasure.
We'd love to have you again.
Have you done Yeah, I'd love to have you again. Have you done a podcast
I have
before?
not. No, this is my first podcast.
Wow.
Cherry popped.
Yeah. There we go.
Cherry pop. But I was also going to say you're like super natural
Oh,
at
thank
it.
you.
Like you're very confident,
you.
very collected, very much not like us. So
Very, very cooler.
very cooler. Yeah, that's not okay.
And on that note,
Okay. AC, we've had such a blast talking with you today. Honestly, like we could sit and talk with you for hours. It's sad to let you go. But before we let you go, the mic is yours. Let the people know what you got going on in your life.
and where we can find you.
And where to find me. Okay, so Jumpers, as we were just discussing, that's my latest release. My books are available on Amazon. They are available through Kindle Unlimited. You can also get the paperbacks through Barnes and Noble. We're working on getting hardcovers into Barnes and Noble right now, but I'm trying to get them out there and as wide of a platform as I can. Still working on that, but definitely Amazon and Barnes and Noble are going to be the biggest places at this point. And thank you so much for having me on. This was so much fun, and I agree. I could stay here chatting with you ladies all day. So this has been wonderful.
That's amazing. Where can we find you? What's your
Ooh,
socials?
oh goodness, don't ask me that. Okay, so
Hold on.
I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you just look up AC Hessenauer, that's going to be the best way. I don't have them in front of me to read off to you. I do have a QR code because I'm like so high tech and fancy now.
Smart.
And the back matter of
Mm.
every book, that's in my ebooks too. So you can definitely also scan that. And that will take you to my author website. That always has the most up-to-date information on my, upcoming releases, little tidbits, and I have notes about each book that I wrote, things like that. I also have an author newsletter that I just started. So that's going to go out once a month. When you sign up for that, you get a free ebook too. Right now it's Carl. So if that's the
Ooh.
one that led you to me, I apologize. But if you haven't read Carl yet,
Right.
you'll get that for free. You can download that through BookFunnel. You'll get a link to download when you sign up for my newsletter. So I'm all over the internet and just very random places, trying to get everything more cohesive with my website. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much, AC.
Yes. Thank you, ladies.
Yes.
It's
This
been
was a lot of
wonderful.
fun. Happy 4th and all the things that are
Yeah.
happening.
Oh, thank you. Yes. It'll be a
Yeah.
bit of a damper on the 4th of July celebration, I feel like, this year. But we're still going to have our fireworks and our sparklers and
Celebrate.
right? We'll be out there.
Yeah.
Celebrate
You're
something else. Celebrate it Friday.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
Yeah, celebrate the launch of
There you
Jumpers.
go.
I guess this is a
We'll
celebration
be out there
party.
in the
Yes.
heat melting with our sparklers. There we go. Full circle
Yay.
back to the weather.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. What a great way
Well,
to
I hope you
end.
guys stay cool.
Thank you. You too.
Yes.
Have a good day, guys. I'll see you.
Have a good one.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
one.